comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. By idiots, for idiots. Welcome, sinners. This is Sports Idiot Nation.
Welcome in to episode 65. We can now retire here at Sports Idiot Nation. We are of age for Geritol and all that.
Medicare.
It is Thursday.
Is Medicare still a thing?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I am Adam Reno, joined by Mr. T.I, and we are joined by one of the guys that's been with us basically from the beginning, Ryan from Hot Zone Sports. Been a while since we checked in with you, brother. Our Colts brother, everything Colts. So tell us first a little bit about what's going on with you and getting involved with the Colts, and then we can all three of us can make fun of them together.
Yeah, so
like I have room to talk.
Yeah. Number one pick. To start it off, I had this crazy idea. So Hot Zone Sports, we talk about everything on our podcast, on our live streams. So I had this idea of starting a Colts podcast, but the guy I reached out to about him jumping on one random podcast, because I knew he was a Colts guy, and so I had him jump on, and he's like, "Hey, why don't you come on our podcast, which is Horseshoe Mob Podcast?" And so I hopped on.
Great
What's
name.
that?
That's a great
Horseshoe
name.
Mob.
I like it. Horseshoe Mob. I like it.
The name always trips me out, but anyway, I hopped on there, and everything went great. And I was like, I want to be a part of this, and because when you have your favorite sports team, you want to talk about it all the time. But on my podcast, I also like talking about, LeBron James, Bronny James, Oklahoma City Thunder, what's going on in the NFL right now, college football, all that. And so I wanted to jump on that, and everything's been going on pretty well. Had some sickness. The problem with me was I got COVID in 2021, and so it seems like every single winter I get sick at least a couple of times, and I was sick for probably about a month. So that kind of gave me a nice little hiccup when it came to my podcast, but we're back up and running.
Yeah, that'll slow you down for sure.
Yeah, but we stream every Tuesday. We took a couple of weeks off just because there wasn't anything going on. Nobody really wants to talk about the Colts when it's Super Bowl time and Super Bowl parade time. So we took a couple of weeks off. We started the new season 2 weeks ago, and so we stream on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and that is Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah.
There you go.
Very
all
cool.
over the place. Yeah, give him a follow for sure. We came into contact originally through Facebook, but as we built our podcast, Ryan was building his podcast, and both encourage each other to, get it off the ground and put our faces out there doing our thing, and here we are. So Ryan, with the Colts, the Horseshoe Mob. So there's what, a total of 4 of y'all, or is it 3? I think it's 4, right? With you, right?
It's 4, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
We have Harish.
4 horsemen.
Yeah, it's pretty much the 4 horsemen. There's another guy, Harish, who does a Texas Longhorns podcast.
There you go.
So yeah.
I totally get the idea of having you wanted to do your thing with Hot Zone, but then wanted to do and jump in with the Colts, because a lot of people on Sports Idiot Nation don't really realize that I do the same thing that you do, basically, with Johnny Dell, who has been on our show before talking through NFL dynasties. So he is a longtime 49er fan who lives in Alabama, and he already had a channel that had, before I met him, he was about 15,000 subscribers on YouTube and was getting paid and everything. And then I met him through Twitter, and he didn't have a podcast, and so I reached out, and in that time, he's jumped 10 grand in subscribers. And so now there's no way I'm going to take full credit for that, but I will take some. I mean, having a podcast that comes out twice, we go every Monday and Friday.
I thought you're just going to take full credit for it. Why not? That's
just
typical.
Just take the credit, man.
It's like, yep, here he goes. Here goes Adam taking full credit for it.
But when you have a show that comes out every Monday and Friday for 2 years now, you know, it's going to increase your subs. And so I do love talking just 49ers with my 49er guy. But then I also want to be able to come on here and make fun of the Titans because that's so easy to do here.
I mean, and of course, I mean, that's the thing too here is like, as my stuff grew, it was like, well, I want to talk about the things I like. Like, I want to talk about the Grizzlies. Like, I want to talk about, you know, NBA. I want to talk about other stories in the NFL because, you know, I love the NFL. I love college football. And then it got to the point where it was like, people are like, man, this isn't Titans related, blah, blah, blah. So it was like, I kind of wanted to do that as well and branch out and do something bigger, you know, and that's what led to Sports City Nation. But I think what it boils down to is just consistency. And when you're doing whatever your product is, whatever your voice is, whether you're a podcast, whether you're doing podcasts in a page, like a lot of us are, and Ryan, you know, I see you, it's consistent, it's constant, like you're constantly posting, you're going to make sure like you're constantly hitting your socials, you're constantly hitting topics, you're constantly on base of what the topics are. And that's the thing. It's like, you're not going to build any kind of following if you're not topical and if you're not timely. And that's what I think you do well. And I think, you know, the fact that you're kind of growing, expanding, and networking within the Colts community and everything is great. And, you know, it's going to be interesting to see where a lot of us are within this network, within even a year from now, you know, because I think even the last year, we've all grown a lot and really networked and expanded. So it's cool to see all the stuff you're doing.
I think Facebook kind of has me in follower purgatory at the moment, though, because
a lot of us are going through
4 months.
Yeah, a lot of us are going through it right now. I'm just, I've been struggling with the Titans page with it. The other pages are doing a little better, but my pal Wes Wisely is dealing with it right now. You know, it's tough, man. I think it's just, it's hard to nail that algorithm. And I think that in the NFL is so hot during the regular season. I think that some of us kind of sports people get kind of pushed to the side by the Facebook algorithm this time of year. That's the only thing I can think of.
I hit 30,000 followers, and then the following week, I went back to 29.9. I'm like, what? What's going on, Zuck? What's up?
Yeah, I lost.
I
lost like 500 followers over the past couple of weeks. Not 500, excuse me, 50 followers over the past like 2 or 3 weeks, just randomly. And I don't know. I can't attribute it to. Sometimes attribute to people just deleting Facebook. Sometimes it's porn bots.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times it's porn bots, and then sometimes again it's porn bots. Did I mention it could be porn bots?
Right. That's always a possibility.
I actually try to go through my page and block and ban those from the page because I already know. Like,
I do too. When I catch them, I do too. Like, I catch them sitting there, you know, they'll ping everybody. Oh, I love your content. Send me a message. You know, it's like, no, delete, block. One time I had a fake Derrick Henry doing that, and then I blocked it, and then Facebook popped up, and it was like, are you sure you want to block Derrick Henry? And I was like, oh, it's sad, but I think I'm going to have to, even though it's not the real one.
I have a fake Caitlin Clark that keeps popping up. Hey,
course
this is real Caitlin Clark.
Of course
I have 34 followers. This is really me.
Yeah, you do so much WNBA and being and covering the Colts, you know, obviously with Caitlin, like covering the Fever, like, yeah, I could see that because I get the same thing. I get there's fake Titans people pop my page, there's fake Texans. Yeah. You know, it's hilarious. You know, the other hilarious thing is that people fall for that. It's like, what? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, man, like, how do you think that's really Joe Mixon?
Hey, fake Caitlin Clark, when she sends you a message and says, "Hey, Joe Smith, I think you're very attractive. Send me a message." I mean, because Caitlin Clark's not busy enough as it is.
No, and that's if she wants to date somebody other than her boyfriend, you know. Yeah, I'm sure that she can probably have someone arrange that for her. State Farm could probably work it out for her with the State Farm money.
I mean, it's probably Taylor Swift and messaging people anyway, so whatever.
Probably so. From Zimbabwe, Taylor Swift from Zimbabwe.
Yes. Zimbabwe.
Nigerian Prince Taylor Swift
wearing a Chiefs three-peat shirt.
Yes.
Yeah,
and a cowboy hat.
So, all right, let's get into some Colts news and how you think they're going to handle the quarterback situation. We know that they've come out and said that they're going to have a competition. What's your take on that, and how do you think it's going to end up?
All
right. So I talked a little bit.
He's like, all right,
in his field. You
it's
notice
like
that?
It's like that meme where it's like, Dad, will you tell me about? And it's like, Dad pounds 3 shots of tequila. It's like, all right, listen.
That's the vibe.
Yeah, that's the vibe we're getting here, Ryan. You know, you seem excited for the competition coming up.
There's nothing more or less exciting because if anybody follows the Colts, then you know the 9-year stint from Chris Ballard has just been complete hot shit of the worst material. Okay, the revolving door of quarterbacks. I mean,
the worst shit.
Yeah, it's the worst. It's like
baby slash like diarrhea is the like worst.
Puppy
dinosaur.
Shit changing dog food.
Stegosaurus. It's like cheese. That pile of Stegosaurus poop from Jurassic Park.
It's horrid. Okay, so everybody knows that the Colts have had a revolving door of quarterbacks before Anthony Richardson. I think our longest quarterback stint was Phillip Rivers, and that was like 2 years. And so, we draft Anthony Richardson. Everybody loves the measurables. Listen, the combine doesn't mean a damn thing. I don't care how big your hands are. It doesn't matter as long as you can grip the ball.
About that.
Okay? Yeah. Also, I don't care how high you can jump. That's not going to matter as a quarterback unless you're Josh Allen and you're trying to hurdle 6'6" defensive tackles.
Yeah, it's not a jumping contest.
So Chris Ballard, I believe his press conference was 2 weeks ago. It was like the pre-free agency, we're going to hype up Colts Nation and we're going to tell you what we're actually doing. Well, if you know Chris Ballard, then you understand that he's going to drop a few tea leaves for you to pick up on. And those tea leaves were Will Fries, offensive lineman for the Colts. He did not mention his name whatsoever, which tells me that the Colts don't want him. Well, that's a problem because Will Fries has been one of the more underrated offensive linemen that has actually developed. And then you have this tea leaf that we're going to bring in competition for the quarterback position. Well, here's your competition out there. There's been rumors all over social media, especially on X. I think it was yesterday. It was U Stadium where they reported that there are no suitors for Anthony Richardson because they don't believe that he's good enough. So the Colts hypothetically can't trade him away. Well, here's the thing. If you try and trade that pick away, Shane Steichen, the head coach, and Chris Ballard are already fired. So that's not going to happen. So don't believe that BS. Also, let's go back to the quarterback competition. In my dream scenario, who I would bring in is Justin Fields. He has the same type of feel. He's a running quarterback. Now, granted, he's not the most accurate, but he is also going to do
more accurate than Anthony Richardson. We'll give him that.
I think a turtle is more accurate than Anthony Richardson. Sorry, Colts fans.
Shout out Turtles Idiot Nation.
Recently, 2,000 followers.
Jesus,
that's right. Woohoo!
In a couple months.
Party.
Sidebar. I don't know how you can get 2,000 followers with Turtle Idiot Nation.
It happened.
Right. Can we talk about that a little bit? How crazy is that?
Turtle. There's people like Ninja Turtles, man. People like Ninja Turtles.
And here's what happened, Ryan.
Ninja Turtles needs a football team.
What happened was our first 10 episodes of Sports Idiot Nation. You can go back and watch the first 10 episodes, and somehow, some way, through just navigating, we ended up talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for at least 30 seconds in almost every episode. And then there was finally an episode where it didn't come up, and I was like, hey guys, we didn't talk about turtles. And then T.I.'s like, hey, so who was your favorite turtle? And we're like, oh, okay. So then we're like, well, I wonder if we should just make Turtles Idiot Nation. And that was like a couple months ago. And fast forward now, just last week, it is now over 2,000 followers.
So it's groups,
which
man.
Is just nuts. We don't even know what we're doing.
Yeah, all you kiddos out there with your social media, get in those groups, man. Find the groups that fit your niche and give them good content, and they will reward you with the benefits.
Yeah, Cowabunga.
Cowabunga, that's right. But I mean, everybody likes Ninja Turtles, man, and plus it's been around so long. So anyway, but we're not here to talk about Ninja Turtles. We're here to talk about Hot Zone Sports, talk about the Horseshoe Mob, and talk about the cool stuff Ryan's doing. I talk about how people like Ninja Turtles.
Which hey, Ryan, one thing too that I want to give you a shout out and a reason to follow Ryan and Hot Zone Sports is I like when you share a lot of different videos that are out there. For example, I found this out, and you weren't the first person to share it, but I only know of it because of you. And it was from a couple weeks ago where Luka grabs the ball from the ref and rubs it all over his sweaty ass head and then throws it back to the ref, and the ref's like, oh. Hey. And she doesn't grab it. And then LeBron's like, doesn't know what's happening. And they show him, and he's like, what? What's the big deal? They're like, no, dude, he just rubbed it on his face. That's all sweaty and tried to give it back.
And he's like arguing. He's being aggressive, whoever he's talking to. And I'm just like, what is going on?
What do they do in Europe? Like, they just, like, he might as well put it in his pants. Like, what is happening?
Yeah,
like, he just thought it was normal?
Yeah, that's very weird. You know, I mean, I haven't really seen that move ever, actually.
No.
Ever
so,
in the game.
Shout out to Ryan, because he shared that, and
yeah,
that's
Ryan,
how I get some of my content.
Yeah, I will. Another thing Ryan does good a lot is, I was going to say, you're talking about videos, talking about reels, is Ryan's always hitting the reels, and I need to be better about that. But you're always, like, especially, you know, when it's basketball season and it's college basketball season, like, you know, you're hitting that really hard. College football, you're hitting really hard. So do a good job there, man. You know, spreading the wealth, you know.
Just so you know, none of this content is stolen, okay? I don't steal from other creators. This is just me. And, you know, reels, they hit really hard. And when I have one that's successful, usually I think the last one was the Chiefs. Well, Patrick Mahomes. I think that was the last one that was really successful. And the problem with that is when those followers come in, just in case you want to create a page, just a little tidbit of advice. If you're going to create a reel, you need to be really consistent with it, because otherwise the followers that you get from that are going to disappear because they are now expecting you to create nothing but reels. So I try to keep a balance to where I write stuff, I do breaking news, and then boom, you get a reel. Kind of like last night, I posted a couple reels. One was Luka getting locked down by Jaylen Brown, and then another one was Bronny James hitting a 3 in the G League. Go G League!
Bronny James, man, is he just a great NBA player, or is he the greatest NBA player of all time? People are asking.
Bronny?
I don't.
Yes, people are asking. Is he just a great player, or is he the greatest?
I think he's the
What if
greatest.
you had that? What if those are your only answers? You only can answer it with those two questions.
He's the greatest cheerleader.
Yeah, Stephen A.
Lakers.
That's what Stephen A. Smith's answers would be.
Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen A. Smith had some great college numbers, though. He scored, I think, 1.2 points average and averaged 1 assist a game.
That's about what Bronny did.
Pretty much. Yeah. Speaking of NBA, Ryan, I know we've talked about this, but I can't really remember, man. So, are you a Pacers fan by default, or are you?
No,
Do you?
I got it. OKC.
That's right. That's right. We
I
talked.
am
Now
an
I remember.
OKC fan,
Now
but
I remember.
man, right now it is really hard to look away from what the Lakers are doing. Okay, you know what you're going to get from OKC. There's dominance on every position on most nights, but on the Lakers, you now have this circus of LeBron. You have Luka. They actually made Jackson Hayes into a guy that looked like a center for like 3 or 4
Well,
games.
he's just a lob guy. Come on now.
And then he came back down to earth. But, it's just really hard not to talk about the Lakers right now. Like my next podcast, we're going to be talking about the Lakers and the Celtics game nonstop. And newsflash,
we're going to do the same on an upcoming episode. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. People were talking so much crap on the Lakers, but they don't understand what the Celtics did. If you go back and look at their game against the Celtics, or against the 76ers, the Celtics, they rested most of their starters except Tatum, and he only played 31 minutes. I mean, they were already chill. So
torched them. I thought Tatum was about to drop a 60 burger on their heads the way he was playing.
Yeah.
Dude was chucking up three, was breaking it. They just kick it right back out to him. He was just like, fuck it. Right back up, he was playing lights out,
I got a question then regarding Tatum and like kind of being the face of the league.
Oh, I know where this is going.
So there's been a lot of talk about LeBron and Steph, and rightfully so, as both of those teams are really surging. You have the Lakers as like the number 2 seed coming from out of nowhere, and you have the Warriors who were out of the playoffs who are now at like the 5 or 6 seed, whatever it is, and they are leading the league in like point differential, in turnovers, in free throw percentage. They're like leading the league since the Butler did it. So it's been incredible what those two teams are doing for sure. And safe to say that those two guys are the face of the league. But what do you say about Tatum as far as being the face of the league? Because I heard the argument that the faces of the league are like Messi, Ronaldo, but it doesn't mean that who is that English guy? Rooney. So Rooney's not a face of the league, but Rooney is incredible. He's an incredible soccer player, but he's not Ronaldo, right? And so is Tatum, why is he not? Because he even said, he went on record and said, I check all the boxes. But why is he not like the face of the league? Is he Rooney or is he in the Messi and Ronaldo? What do you say?
Okay, so I will give an example. All right, so you had Tom Brady and Peyton Manning going. Okay, back in their heyday, the face of the league was Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. Okay, you could go to the NBA, right? The 90s, the face of the league. You knew immediately without discussion. It was MJ. Okay, the face of the league in the 2000s. Like a year after he was drafted was LeBron James, because everybody saw him as nobody was even close to him in competition. So when I think of Jason Tatum right now, I don't think of pure dominance. I think of he's a great player, but he's not the face of the league. Eventually, within the next 2 years, the face of the league is going to be Wemby, because when he is healthy, he is, his mascot or whatever is an alien. He is an alien. He's the most dominant player on the court, no matter what 7-footer you put him up against. Joel Embiid, Jokic, they can go side by side. But when it comes to the face of the league, I just don't feel that it's Jason Tatum. Like we saw it in last year's finals.
He wasn't even the MVP.
Yeah, he wasn't. That was Brown. And when you think of, okay, we saw it this past summer in the Olympics.
DNP did not play.
Yeah.
You can't be the face when you're not among your peers. Steve Kerr doesn't even play you.
Yeah,
he's too technical. He's too boring. He checks all the boxes, and that's the problem. Does Kevin Durant check all the boxes? Does he's an assassin? He's a scorer. He sometimes likes to play defense, but other than that,
well, KD was kind of the face, wasn't he? Well, that's 5 years ago.
But that's what I'm getting at. Is like, yeah, but I mean, KD didn't check all the boxes. He was just an elite scorer. He at the time, like, he would play defense when it mattered. But I mean, like look at Luka. Luka hadn't played defense the entire time he's in the league. I was watching that game the other day against Celtics, and there's one play he was just like throwing his hand up in the air, like, oh, that'll stop him. I mean, it's just like, it's tough. That's to me, Tatum is like, yeah, he checks all the boxes. He's too technical. He's finesse. Even his 3-point shot is like, it's high arcing shot. It's got this. It's a shot like no other. Steph Curry has his own shot. Like these guys have their own signature shots. And I think Jason Tatum's a lot of finesse plays. If he just doesn't come across as like to take over a game to me. Like, he'll score a lot of points, but he's not a LeBron James. It's just going to come down and like dominate for the last two minutes.
If there's one player who I think should be the face of the league, it's Ant, but he doesn't want it. Like I posted something a couple of days ago where he said he wants nothing to do with his child, which is just wild to me, being a parent myself. But I'm just like, he wants nothing to do with being the face of the league.
Yeah. I'm sure Adam Silver was like, oh, great. Did you have to say that? That's, PR, spin it. But yeah, you're right. He doesn't. He should be. He's a phenomenal player. Same thing like Ja Morant, like these guys, like they just they can be the face of the league, but do they really want to be?
That.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Do guys like him and Ant really want to be, or do they just want to play basketball, make a lot of money, and maybe win a championship? Yeah. Some of these guys aren't there for the love of the game. Some of them aren't there to win championships. Some people are there because, hey, man, I'm good at this, and I can make a career, make millions of dollars, and change my whole family's life forever, and get my brothers out of their situations, get my family, get my mom a new house. Like, so that's what some people's motivation is. It's not always just to win a championship. So, I mean, maybe that's the thing with Ant. Maybe he's like, man, I'm just good at basketball, and I'm here for the ride, but I don't want to be the LeBron James. Let me just be flying under the radar and scoring 45 a game, and dunking on these people's heads. Because, man, you're right. He is fun to watch.
And have a highlight.
Yeah, he is a walking highlight reel.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
He reminds me of Russell Westbrook before Russell Westbrook just started just throwing it everywhere and just doing all crazy stuff. Like when Russell Westbrook was in OKC, he was a thorn in my side as a Grizzlies fan. I was always just like, this I was just like, he does everything. I was like, literally, he's going to come up and dunk on you. He's going to put up a three. He's going to make the right pass. He's going to get the rebound. Like, this dude is a machine. I think as he got later in his career, he got a little erratic, but he's always been fun to watch. And Ant-Man reminds me a lot of him, a little more controlled Russell Westbrook. But anyway,
just last week, I was looking up Steph Curry's numbers because he had just surpassed 25,000 points, and so I started looking at the list of scorers, and I didn't think of Russell Westbrook like that, but he does have more points than Steph Curry, and Steph Curry has led the league in scoring before. And
he had like a 3-year run where he was just a terror.
Just
he was
crazy.
Terror.
The Tasmanian devil. For sure. So, okay, Ryan, let's get you out of here on this, on two things here. Who is your pick? And yes, I'll allow you to be a homer if you want in this. Who's your pick for the NBA Finals? And one storyline, definitely not the Colts because it's too boring, but what's one storyline in the NFL over this past couple weeks that you kind of have your eye on as like, oh, that's interesting that they signed him, or what are they going to do to fill this void, or something like that. So what's your pick for the NBA Finals? And what story has kind of grabbed your attention in the NFL?
Well, to start off with the NFL, I can't look away from Sam Darnold. That is the number one domino.
We talked about that on Monday. That's crazy. Yeah. Because what are they going to do?
That domino.
They're not going to franchise him.
Once this domino falls, so as we saw a couple days ago, Geno Smith, he's with the Raiders now. Okay, so the Seahawks, they're going to be suitors for Sam Darnold. And the Vikings, obviously, they want to bring him back. Or do they? Aaron Rodgers could be a good fit there. It's just there's so many teams that could get his services, and it is going to boil down to what he wants most. Does he want to win a championship, or does he want the most money possible? And I've said this for about a month now. He is going to get anywhere from $30 to $40 million. And however bad you want him, you might have to pay 45 to outbid him. I mean, really, this is a wild thought. He could go back to a trash organization like, I don't know, the Jets. That's a possibility. I mean, there's so many teams that could just no. We don't want that.
I thought you were talking about trash organizations. I'm sorry.
You're drafting a quarterback, or you're going to trade that pick away. Which
maybe he could come here. Maybe he could just come here and be our next guest.
Hey,
hang out.
Hey, just hang out, man. Have some bourbon.
Listen, Sam, I don't have a lot to offer you, Sam. I mean, right now I don't even know where my mic cable is, but we promise I've got the money for you.
But that is going to be the biggest domino for me to fall, because once that happens, it's just the walls are going to break loose, and then all these other quarterbacks are going to start to fall, and then we'll be able to see a lot more movement when it comes to free agency. But until Sam Darnold, that domino falls, it's free agency is going to be very slow. And I can tell you, and I know you said don't mention the Colts, but here we are. He is not going to the Colts. Okay? The Colts do not want.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah, they do not want Sam Darnold to sign with the Colts. I'm speaking about the GM. They want to bring in competition. They do not want him to take over the position. And so that's not going to happen. But what I do see with the Colts happening is once those dominoes fall, I see an average quarterback coming in, pushing Anthony Richardson a little bit, and you're going to find out if he's the guy or if he's just another guy. And then the door is over there to the left. Actually, my right. Whatever. We're not talking about that.
Yeah. Bring in Jacoby Brissett. Right? Why not just come in full circle, bring him in as the vet there to mentor him and spur him along?
No. Do not put that on me.
Yeah.
Not again.
Old brisket sandwich. I used to call him. Jacoby brisket sandwich.
I think what they're going to end up doing is bringing in Daniel Jones. I mean,
Danny Dimes.
Man. But the thing is,
Daniel
Jones,
you heard it here, folks.
He could end up going back to the Giants, getting paid substantially less because they have a quarterback right now.
He needs to go to the. He needs to go to the
they
Jets.
re-signed their Italian guy.
Yeah, their problems are solved. They got Tiny DeVito back,
which we posted that. We were one of the first people to post that.
Clearly, they are not in the market for a quarterback at all. So what about this? What about Daniel Jones going to the Jets? That'd be interesting.
I don't think there's going to be any free agent that's worth a damn that's going to go to the Jets.
What if Daniel Jones just winds up becoming the number 2 in Minnesota and they go with J.J. McCarthy? I mean,
his whole career has been a number 2.
Yeah, you're right about that. That'll be a whole other episode. If you
want to talk about J.J. McCarthy, I will say this, okay? J.J. McCarthy, he saw about 20 pass attempts per game, maybe 15 on that power run scheme at Michigan.
Sure.
What makes you think that having your new head coach, a pass-heavy scheme, is going to make J.J. McCarthy just completely flip the script and turn into a good quarterback? That's my question.
Did they trade up for him with Minnesota, or did they just draft him there?
I think they just drafted him.
Okay.
All right,
Either way,
but hold
it was
on.
a reach.
Before we get too off track, 'cause this is what we do here at Sports Idiot Nation. We totally derail. We need to know your pick for NBA Finals. Who is going to be?
Right. That was the last thing. Yeah.
He said you could be a homer. You can pick the Thunder. So who
I don't have faith in him personally.
You don't have to pick the winner. Who's going to represent the finals? Who are going to be the two teams?
I'm not going to pick the Thunder.
Listen to that. There you go. I know
because
you're going Lakers.
They played a top tier team last week, and they were the Timberwolves, I believe. They were up massively, and this happens in
I did see that.
In every sport, you get up, you set cruise control. When are we ever gonna learn? Like, don't set the cruise control. Just beat the team by 90 points. Who cares? But the bottom line is this. OKC, they don't have that killer instinct. The only thing they have is at the end of the game, when they're getting interviewed, they get 900 towels thrown on that person while they're being interviewed. That they don't have that killer instinct. They remind me of a middle school. Yeah, they remind me of a middle school team.
Sure.
Okay? They are not mature at all. Like, my pick is going to be the Celtics and the Lakers, because now that you have Luka, and now that you have LeBron, when you have those two together, the only duo that I think is better is Tatum and Brown. They both players, but we saw Saturday night what Jaylen Brown can do against Luka, just completely locking him up.
What can Brown do for you?
Yeah, it was just that type of game. But it could be the Nuggets, but I just don't. It's gonna be interesting to see how that bracket fills out and all that. But the way I said on my podcast on Friday is there's two tiers of top teams. Okay, the first tier is teams like the Nuggets. Okay, they're a good team, but you know what they are. They don't exactly have that killer instinct. They'll win you some games, doing the right things and whatnot. And then you have an OKC Thunder. They're in that same tier. But are you really afraid to play them? No. And then you have the Lakers, and then you have the Celtics. Teams that you don't want to play come the playoffs.
Those are the teams everyone circles.
And that's why I say keep an eye on Golden State, because they could become that. If they keep winning like that and jump up to maybe the 4 seed where now they're hosting, watch out, because they have that DNA in them.
So Adam says, watch out. Well, Adam, you can wish in one hand, and you can, what in the other, and see which one fills up first.
Yes. This is what we do at Sports Idiot Nation. Shout out to Ryan and Hot Zone Sports, and we will see you Monday. Okay, all you sinners, follow Sports Idiot Nation on TikTok, X, and Instagram. Like us on Facebook, and remember, the most fun way to watch us is on YouTube every Monday and Thursday. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you can be updated when new content drops. Remember, the podcast can also be found on the usual suspects of Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Always remember, don't be an idiot.
Sinner.